Hey bro, MikamiHero here again. I think it's time for another pickups video. Games I bought recently, episode 2. Picked up a lot over these last 3 months, so I figured I'd show you guys what I picked up. Uh, I guess to answer a few common questions I get amongst my peers and just people I know. Question 1, how do you afford these games? I work. I have a part-time job. Simple. Where do I find time to play these games? I usually find time to play them either before bed or late at night when I've finished my uni work for the day. And question 3 is, do I save? Yes, I do save. I save a fair portion of my money. Probably about half of my money I save. The rest either goes to general expenditures, like petrol and transport, food, and the other goes to some games I want to buy. I do my research with these games. I try to see what the average price is and try to find a deal that's below that average price. Simple economics, if you ask me. But let's get started. Enough of that. First game I picked up, as you probably saw from my pickups video, was Super Mario World for the Super Nintendo. What can I say? This is like the go-to game on the Super Nintendo if you're looking to start off a Super Nintendo collection. I didn't pay too much for this. I paid about $20. It comes complete with the cartridge, the box, and the manual. It's, I guess you could say, the epitomizing platformer. It's a simple Mario game, you know. Not simple, but so effective, so much fun. Parts we get to ride as Yoshi, the different power-ups you get. I'm just about done with this one. I think I'm up to World 8, so... World 7 and World 8, yeah, but I'm definitely keen just to finish this one off. Not too long now, but definitely worth it if you're into Mario. Next game I got was on the DS, and that is Nostalgia for the DS. And the name is indicative of what it is. It's a very nostalgic, for lack of a better word, RPG where the story, the characters, the gameplay are all just very, you could say, formulaic in regards to how an RPG not should have been, but was back in the day when they first started out. You could think of example is Dragon Quest. That's a very old school RPG. This pretty much follows the same formula in terms of story, character development, and gameplay. Having said that, though, it's done very, very well. I'm about an hour into it, and I only got this for $10. So definitely pick this up if you are looking for an RPG on the DS and just want something really traditional. Very reminiscent of old school RPGs. Next game I picked up was Perfect Dark on the Nintendo 64. Now this was quite cheap, obviously because the box itself is in not the best of conditions, but it didn't bother me, it came complete. I only played about, I guess, half an hour of this game, and it's not too bad. I'm thinking if I played a bit more, we get into it. From what I gathered of it, it's like, you could say, Metal Gear Solid mixed with just first-person shooter aspects, where you have to sort of plan your route and your actions, but it's also got the first-person shooter aspect, like any other game would. It's pretty fun. I'm not sure what's going on with the story yet, but I'm definitely going to give this more of a go. So happy to have this on my Nintendo 64 collection. Alright, I guess we'll move on to some Gamecube. First up, as you might have seen in my recent pickup video, I got The Legend of Zelda Collector's Edition, and this comes with Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, Zelda 1 and 2 for the NES. So for about $30, I think I scored pretty well. Unfortunately, I didn't get the complete edition, which comes with the box and the manual. I think I might pick that up later on, depends, but I'm just happy to have the game itself at the moment. I've played through Majora's Mask again, that was quite fun. Next game is 13 on the Gamecube. I think I paid about $13 for this, ironically. This one's not too bad. It's a typical first-person shooter, again in the same vein as Perfect Dark, where you've got to sort of plan your attack. You get certain conditions which, if you breach in the game, you fail the mission entirely. So this one's actually pretty fun. It's got a very comic book style, comic book art direction, and it's actually really, really fun. Really simplistic gameplay. About an hour into this, so I'm definitely going to finish this one off. Next game I picked up was Mortal Kombat Deception for the Gamecube. Now, as you can tell from the spine, I'll grab a PAL game and compare that. The NTSC spine versus the PAL spine. You see how the GameCube logo is reversed, with the NTSC being at the bottom and the PAL at the top. The reason I got this is because if you've watched my recent video, mystery unboxing video, I actually picked up a freeloader, and this is the game I bought to test it with. I had a lot of fun with Mortal Kombat Deception on the PS2. Conquest mode was awesome, and gameplay was fun. The reason I picked up this one again for a different console is because you can play as Goro and Shao Kahn, so I figured that was an added bonus. Having a lot of fun with this again, definitely get around to finishing off Conquest mode. Here's the freeloader that I bought. This one wasn't about $30 on eBay. They're kind of hard to find, but if you can find one, it's worth it. Next game was Tales of Symphonia. Now, the PAL versions for this game on eBay go anywhere between $80 to $100, and I thought that is way too much for a GameCube game. So I got the NTSC version, which cost $30 with shipping. So this is a very, I guess you could say, beautiful RPG. The battle is in real time, and I haven't played too much of it yet, but from what I gather, this story is really, really good. I'm still sort of lost. I'm not too aware of what's going on yet, but if I play more of it, I think I'll definitely like it. So if you're into RPGs and you want one for the GameCube, Tales of Symphonia is definitely one to go with. The battle system takes a bit of time to get used to, but so far it's not too bad. Alright, now we're on to the Wii. I picked up Super Mario Galaxy for the Wii. Now, I did play this back in the day. I rented it from a friend, and I really had a lot of fun with it. And I figured I want to expand my Wii collection a bit, only because it's a console I feel it doesn't get enough love. And there are some really great titles on it, despite what people say that the console's just for kids or it's lost its touch. Well, I agree it wasn't as strong as when it started out with, but this is definitely a title that everyone should own in their Wii collection. It's sort of like Super Mario 64, but you travel between, I guess, different planets and collect the stars, and it's really, really fun. What can I say? It's a Mario game. Definitely give this a try if you're into Mario or in need of a platformer for the Wii. And if you don't have Super Mario Galaxy, definitely get it. This still retails for about $70 in stores brand new where I am in Australia, and I figured no way. And I paid about $30 for it online, so I figured good deal. Next I picked up for $10, and that was Metroid Prime 3. I have to say I haven't played Metroid Prime 1 and 2, but when I saw this for $10, I thought can't pass that up. But this has prompted me to get Metroid Prime 1 and 2 before I play this one. So, but for $10, I thought that was okay. The next game was also $10, and that's Mad World for the Wii. Now, I've seen these quite a lot in my local game stores for pre-owned for about $10 to $12, and I always wonder, like, why? And I guess I sort of understand, because the art style is noir, which doesn't bother me. Gameplay is quite brutal, it's just mindless violence, and I can see the appeal in it, but for me it kind of got old really quickly. I chucked this in for about an hour and then had a bit of fun with it and then just lost interest. But I'll definitely keep this in my collection. It's one of those games I want to just keep around. But for $10, I thought for a bit of mindless fun, oh well. And the next was $20, and that was Super Paper Mario. Now, I haven't played the previous two games on the GameCube and the Nintendo 64, though I hear they are more RPG style than this, which is more of a platformer. Have to say, I'm having a lot of fun with this, though. The unique aspect of this game is you can switch between 2D and 3D mode, which sort of opens up new options in the game. So if there's like a gap that you can't get across in 2D mode, if you flip to 3D, you might see like a ledge. So that's a unique mechanic. About 3 hours into this, and I would definitely recommend this to anyone who's either into Mario or in need of a platformer on the Wii, as I said. This and Super Mario Galaxy are definitely two titles worth picking up. For $20, I thought, okay. Okay, on to PSP. First game is still sealed, and that's Valkyria Chronicles 2. The reason it's still sealed is because I saw this for $10 again, and I haven't finished the first one, which I do have. But getting this sort of prompts me now to finish the first one. So yeah. Next is Grand Theft Auto Vice City Stories on the PSP. Have to say, this one's actually not too bad. I've played about an hour or two of this, and I think I'll definitely get around to finishing this. I do like the Grand Theft Auto games, and I thought for $10, why not? Next game I also got for $10, and that's Lords of Arcana. Now, this is not $18 as it says on the price tag, but it was $10. Don't know too much about this. I got what's called the Slayer edition, and it comes with the mini CD soundtrack and an art book. So I figured, I'll pick this up. I'll give this a go when I have the time. not much to say about it. From what I've seen on gameplay, it's sort of just like action RPG, I guess you could say. Not really an RPG, but just sort of an action game. Looks to me in a similar vein of like Bayonetta or Devil May Cry. I could be wrong, but I'll definitely give this a go. And the game that's been taking up the most of my time is Persona 3 Portable. Now, for those of you who are into the Persona series, you would have either picked this up or you would have played that on the PS2. But this one I find is a far superior version of the PS2, only because it cuts out any of the unnecessary wandering, which I don't really have an appeal for, and it just speeds up the gameplay quite a bit. For those of you who aren't unaware of what the Persona series is, you basically summon what are called personas in battle. They each have their different attributes and abilities, so some personas might summon ice moves or some might summon lightning moves, and you can switch between your personas. And what I like about this version on the PSP is you can actually have direct control of your other characters, whereas in the PS2 version you only gave me direct commands. So this one is definitely worth picking up. I had to pay about $30 for this, but it was not too bad. It's got a very Pokemon-esque / Sims aspect where you've got to make friends, go to school, and improve what are called social links between you and your friends, and that improves the power of your persona, what options you have for your personas, abilities, fusions, etc. So if you want something a bit different than a traditional turn-based RPG, get Persona 3 Portable, and by Atlas, so you can't go wrong there. I don't have much time left, so I'm going to have to speed through some of these games. These two I got for $20 from a deal online that I saw, and that's Final Fantasy 13-2, Final Fantasy 13, and the collector's case that came with it. I didn't finish Final Fantasy 13, I actually traded that in, but I figured for $20 I wouldn't mind owning these again. That might prompt me to play these again. Next game was Eco and the Shadow of the Colossus collection. I never played them on PS2, so I figured this would be cool to pick up. This was like $20, I think? Yeah, $20. And I haven't played it yet, but from what I gather, they're very beautiful games, very artistic, and I'm keen to give these a go. Next is Bulletstorm. Haven't played it. $10 again, but I heard this is a very quirky first-person shooter, so I figured why not. And the next two games I got were the only two brand new games that I got in these last 3 months. And the first one is Tekken Tag Tournament 2. I'll say I'm a bigger fan of 2D games, but this has definitely brought me into the 3D fighting game community. Big roster of characters. Gameplay is really, really fun. And the netcode for this is amazing. Trust me. I live in Australia, and sometimes the internet is, I could say, garbage. I get a lot of lag online when I play games, especially like Marvel vs. Capcom 3 or Super Street Fighter 4 AE. But this game, I get barely any lag, and I'm having a lot of fun with this. If you're into 2D fighters and you're looking to get into a 3D fighter, definitely get this one. Big roster of characters, very, very friendly in terms of introducing you to the game, and I highly recommend it. The next game is probably the most anticipated game of the year so far, and that's Borderlands 2. Now, I have to say, I was a big Borderlands 1 fan, and this definitely does not disappoint. The guns have been upgraded, the characters are different, the story's slightly different, but everything that Borderlands 1 did well, this does better. I've picked Zero as the class I've chosen, and I'm having so much fun with this. I'm about 3 hours in, and I'm definitely going to show some gameplay footage with that very, very soon. I didn't pick up the collector's edition, unfortunately. I missed out on that, but I figured I'd pick up the standard and just have my fun with it. And it actually gives you a bonus for having a save file from Borderlands 1 if you still kept it, and if you load this in, it'll give you like additional skins and costumes. But for those of you who aren't sure what Borderlands is, first-person shooter in an RPG style, and different guns. There's a lot of guns, a lot of combinations, and it's just fun. If you want an RPG but a shooter, definitely try Borderlands 1, and then when you get the time, Borderlands 2. And that's it, guys. Games I bought recently, episode 2 in the last 3 months. I've decided to pair games I bought recently with games I've played recently as well. So expect to see that in the near week or so. I've still got to capture some footage. But until then, leave a like if you enjoy the video. And look after yourselves, and I'll see you soon. Have a good one.